Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to work with the Artistically Inked set. We're going to use the stamps from the set. We're going to use the background one, the small flower, and the happy birthday. I put it on Melon Mambo cardstock for a card base, and then a 5 1/4 by 4 in basic white. And I've decorated it up with the 2022-2024 matte decorative dots. So let's get started and I'll show you how I made the card. So I'm just going to put the card base off to the side for now. I am going to get ready to clean my stamps off in between. So the background is second value. These flowers are first value. I've used Orchid Oasis, Tahitian Tide, Melon Mambo for the flowers, and then Granny Apple Green for the leaves. This one takes a little bit of prep to cut out all the little leaves, but it's certainly worth it. And if you were going to do this as a batch, you could just keep churning out the leaves and the flowers while you were, watching a show or doing something else. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the happy birthday. I know from stamping before with this that it is absolutely straight on the label, so I know that I can just pop this down at the bottom and know that it's going to come out straight. So there we go. The background, as I said, are second value. So I'm going to ink up the stamp away on a scrap piece of paper, and then this gets stamped really close to the edge right there. And then I need to close my stamp pad so that I don't accidentally use it again or dip my finger in it. And the next one we're going to use is Orchid Oasis. So I'm just going to clean off my stamp. I'm just using my Stampin' Scrub with the, the Stampin' Mist spray. And then I'm going to ink this one up. And the reason we're doing these as second value is so that they stand out, so the flowers stand out a little bit more. I'm rotating the stamp around and I'm going to place it down. Okay, and I've got some overstamp there, so I'm just going to make sure I clean that off so that I don't end up putting anything in the middle of my card on the next round. So I'm just going to make sure that's clean, and it is. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Tahitian Tide, and it's going to go the same way up as the Melon Mambo. Stamp away, and then add it to the card, just like that. Okay, so now we just need to add the flowers and the leaves. You'll notice here there's quite a big gap. That's going to be covered up by the flowers. So on this one, I did the Orchid Oasis one first and overlapped the other ones. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to do the Orchid Oasis first, but I'm going to tuck the other ones underneath so that it is more prominent. Okay, so I'm going to pop this one up like this, and these are dimensionalized. And the leaves are not going to be dimensionalized. They're just flat mounted. I'm going to tuck this underneath like this. And I can actually put this right on the card base now. This one I'm going to tuck underneath on this side like this. Okay, and let's go ahead and put it on the card base. And then we're working with a completed card as opposed to bits and pieces. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to line this up along the one side, make sure we're evenly spaced, and then drop it down. So there we go. Now the leaves, you can put as many or as few as you like. I'm going to just turn a bunch of them over, put adhesive on them, and I used 8 leaves on the other one, so I'm going to turn over 8 leaves, and I've got a couple of extra just in case, and I'm just going to put adhesive on the back of, oops, and that one's still attached, there we go, on the back, just on the bottom of the leaves. It doesn't have to be the whole leaf that's got adhesive on it. but doing this all at once means I don't have to keep stopping to add adhesive. So I started with a couple of leaves just at the top here like this. And then I put a couple in under here. Really, this is just your eye, whatever you think it needs. If you think that's enough, that's great. You do whatever you want for the cards. It's your interpretation. So I'm gonna pop that one in like that. And then I did end up putting another one in the top like that. And this one I put in at the bottom. It just kind of gives it a bit of depth. So I'm just going to add this one here at the bottom like that. And then you've got your flowers. Then I pulled in the matte decorative dots. This is the Sweet Sorbet. It's not the Melon Mambo, but I used the darkest ones. And just pop one like that. And you cannot tell the difference in the color. It actually works really, really well. And just pop them wherever you like, remembering too that the bigger the embellishment, the closer to the edge of the card it is, the more difficult it's going to be to get it into the envelope. So I'm just going to use the Tahitian tied ones, just pop them down. Again, this is completely subjective. Wherever you think they should go is where you put them. It's totally up to you. I'm putting them just randomly where I think the background could use just a little bit. Something else you could do as well with this if you wanted to is you could do all the stamping except the happy birthday, and then you could run the background through an embossing folder to give it a level of depth. Then you could add your flowers and you could put the happy birthday on a separate piece, die cut it out and add it in. You could add ribbon to it. I really like this as just being the focal point on the flowers in the front. Although they're symmetrical, they're staggered as well, so it just adds the interest. So thank you so much for watching, and we will create together again soon.